What's the best way for you to compete against bigger agencies that have all the resources, all the bells and whistles? If you've ever found yourself in this situation and feel stuck, stay tuned. This video is going to help you out, I believe. What's up, everyone? This is Micah Salas. I'm the host at the Max Revenue Show. Let's get into this, folks. Thanks for joining us. Here we go. First and foremost, I even took notes for this video because I want to make sure I hit every single point. I used to work at a large national firm, as did Max. Nothing against big agencies. I think big and small both have their spots, but I think so much of it really comes down to is the individual team that is working on any given account. That means you, right? Look in the mirror, it's on you and your team. Now, there's a couple things you want to clear first. Let's preface one thing is there are certain accounts that are just going to be a better fit for a large multinational company. If you're looking at a prospect and they have locations all over the world, 20,000 employees, and you have a little agency with 10, 15 people, probably better not spending your time focusing on that type of account, right? Focus in on the accounts that you can actually win at. Now, I'm not saying don't think bigger, but I'm saying you got to be realistic as well. Now, if you have some type of relationship, I have seen really small agencies handle really large accounts. However, I think that is more the exception rather than the norm. All right, second thing you need to make sure of is that the buyer you're dealing with is not a brand buyer. What do I mean is you might have a buyer that just, they believe in the big names, right? ABC, largest brokerages, that's who they're gonna work with regardless of what you're gonna bring in. Maybe they'll talk to you because you're local or they like you or you brought them donuts. But again, they're just being nice to you. So you gotta try to weed this out and figure out, are they truly a brand buyer or do they just care about who's gonna bring the best ideas? Good analogy to think of is like, look at Tom Brady, was awesome, right? But on paper, didn't look too special. In the combine, didn't look like anything special. He fell to the 6th round. So maybe you can use that within your language as you're talking to the buyer, like, hey, Tom Brady obviously had something special. He was overlooked on paper. So I don't want to necessarily participate in that RFP, but I have a different way of doing things that's helped a lot of people. Would you be open to a different approach, right? So that's how, when you're asked to do an RFP and things like that, you're probably not going to win on paper if you're a smaller agency. But again, bring it back to, this comes into point 3, bring it back to creativity and what I can customize for you, right? So much comes down to you, your team. This is why I am such a big fan of doing due diligence up front, not competing in RFPs, not competing on coding, but making it about the ideas you're bringing to the table, the creativity, how you customize things. And guess what? When you do this, they get a sense for, wow, this is what it would be like to work with this team. Guess what they stop forgetting about? The size, the resources, all the other stuff, because they're thinking about the solutions you're bringing to the problems that you uncovered through your conversation. Okay, so let's get into some things that if you're competing, they might get thrown up against you. Size, right, is going to be one. And own it. Yes, we only have 20 employees, we do 10 million in revenue or whatever. They do 100 million. That's fine, but guess what? With us, you're going to be the center point for our whole team, right? Our best of our best are going to be working on your deal. You mean a lot to our agency. If you want to be a small fish in a big pond, because that's probably what's going to happen over there, and then guess what's going to be lacking? Service, attentiveness on your renewals. So you're just going to be another number there, or you're going to actually be a name to us, right? So you got to own that and use it to your advantage. Another thing, resources. Chances are those big agencies will have in-house resources, but here's what we can say against it. One is, yes, those are in-house resources. However, they're only deployed on specific accounts. Even within that agency, you got to be on the upper tier. So figure out kind of what that threshold is, because they might not even qualify for the tier. Yeah, they're touting all these resources, but can they really deliver the resources? Another point along with this is there an additional fee for those resources that you're going to be paying for? And then are you going to actually utilize these resources? But I think the most important part of this is, even as a small agency, what you can say is, we just figured it's not in our best interest to bring those resources in-house, because we figure there's specialists out there, third-party companies that do such a great job. We let them do their job and we just pay them separately. So out of our commission structure, we'll just bring on this loss control guy as you need them, or a couple times a year. And we don't need to work with them and have them on our own payroll, right? So that kind of equalizes everything out. Okay, the last thing I think, or one of the last things, is leverage, right? You might say, the big guys might say, hey, we have all this leverage, we place all this premium, and there might be some truth to that. But what I would push back on that is, okay, let's get down locally and talk about, okay, you do 100 million nationally, but how much do you do locally with this underwriter? Now, if you're agency and you have a niche and you know that you guys are really strong in something, you might actually be able to beat the big guys when it comes to that local account. But also you can push back and say, you know what? A good risk is a good risk. Doesn't matter who your agent is, Mr. Buyer. You guys got a good thing going on. I think we can help accentuate things, and the underwriter's gonna give a good rate to us if we're submitting it, or the other guy. It doesn't matter how much insurance premium we're placing with them. So that's it, folks. I think someone on LinkedIn had commented that, once he realized, he's at a smaller agent, once he realized that we all put on our pants the same way, it was a mindset shift for him. And I think that's so important for you guys watching this video, is to understand that we're all just humans. The guys at the big shops, the guys at the small shops, doesn't matter. So have that confidence, own the pitfalls or the downsides of being small, but leverage, the upside, right? That the client's going to get. And again, if you can make it customized, it's gonna have a huge impact. That's all I got for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future stuff.